Hi everyone. Today I want to talk about professionalism. um, this is something that has come across in my field placement in regards to some of the individuals that are currently working at my residential care facility that I'm doing my field placement at. So I think this will kind of talk about professionalism as well as boundaries, and I have touched on boundaries a couple of times this semester and last semester, but this I felt this kind of bothered me a lot this week in regards to there's one particular individual who I feel, since I've been at this field placement, has some very unethical behavior, definitely some blurred boundary lines in regards to how she is with the residents and how she deals with certain situations. Also, I mean, professionalism as a social worker is pretty important, especially when you're working for an organization and you are trying to create relationships with different areas, service areas within the community. I feel it's important to maintain a certain level of professionalism, so that if you are ever in need of help in trying to get a service for a particular individual, you haven't burned any bridges in that general area, so to speak. So we have one particular resident we have been working with a pro bono attorney to help with her guardianship issue of her daughter. And it was brought up in court by the opposing party's paralegal to our attorney and to our program director that this particular individual was, when she was dealing with her in regards to getting paperwork and certain stuff, that the level of professionalism just wasn't there. It was very rude, very demanding, was condescending at times. And so for an organization that is brand new and that is trying to build these relationships in the community, as well as with attorneys and local service areas in regards to what it is that we do at our facility, it's very important to make sure that we maintain a level of respect and professionalism in dealing with these individuals, and not being disrespectful and rude and having language that's kind of inappropriate. And that has been, I guess, what has been happening. So that has been a huge blow to the program director, because they've only been open since December. They are trying to get the word of who they are out there, what they do. I mean, our organization is pretty well known. It's been in the works for a long time. It's the only facility of its kind in the state of New Hampshire that works with pregnant women and substance abusing moms who parent children. Our program is designed to have children in the facility with them so they can parent while they're in recovery. So this program is being looked at as a model for other organizations to start something quite similar. So when we have individuals that work within the organization that are not acting accordingly, that jeopardizes not only the relationships that we're looking to build within the community, but it also jeopardizes donors. I mean, this is a nonprofit organization, so it's very important that we maintain a certain, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, a certain, I don't know. I think it's important that we maintain how we look on the outside to these individuals, because we have a $500,000 gap that needs to be made up at the end of the year after all of our funding and grants come in. So our donors are a huge part of the organization, and a huge part of why the doors are able to be open and these women are able to be treated, because donor money is a big thing. So it's very important to have staff, one, trained appropriately, two, to know how to speak to people. I think it's pretty important in how you deliver something, because the tone of your voice can definitely set the stage And this particular individual, there's been a couple of complaints. The issue is being addressed by our program director, as well as the clinical director and the board of directors as well, because that's what this organization is run on. It's run by a board of directors. So, I guess, I mean, it really bothered me hearing a couple of the things this week, and especially being witness to some of the interaction that she's had on the phone with a couple of the service agencies that we're working really hard with, especially our clinics, our methadone clinics and our Suboxones and all of that stuff, to get our new residents in as soon as possible so that they don't have a lapse in their medication. And so it's very disheartening to hear sometimes when there's arguments going on when there doesn't really need to be, and just kind of the ball being dropped in certain areas. So, to me, even though I'm an intern there, I represent that organization. So when I'm on the phone with somebody, or I'm dealing with the residents that are there, or I'm helping with the tour, or if I'm going to appointments, it's very important that I act professional, I dress accordingly. If I don't have an answer for something, let them know that I will definitely get back to them, and let them know that it is something I will look into. Just trying to put that professional face on, because it's super important, especially at this stage in the game where they're so new, in trying to attract all of these other organizations to kind of lean on when we need support. So when you have somebody who is using unprofessional language, is kind of being unethical, and in the way that they deal with the residents that we currently have, as well as some of the outpatient, it tends to be a little frustrating at times, I guess. Again, I don't really have any questions. This is kind of me venting a little bit. I did speak with the program director about some of the issues that I had, as well as my clinical director, and so that was wonderful, knowing that I wasn't the only one feeling that way, especially when some of the work that I'm doing kind of coincides with hers. So it's very important that I feel like I'm being respected too, and not being demeaned either. So it's definitely pretty important on that aspect. I'm sorry, my daughter just walked in. Go ahead, honey. I have no questions for you this week. I hope you're all having a great week. I would just kind of like some feedback in regards to the situation. Thank you.